Three-time Pro Bowl defensive end Danielle Hunter was not at mandatory minicamp today. We talked about it yesterday. He was planning on skipping mandatory minicamp amidst the contract negotiations between him and the Minnesota Vikings. Basically going nowhere. They're trying to figure some things out, but it doesn't seem like they're on the same page. We're receiving trade calls for Danielle Hunter. But one of the realities is that the Minnesota Vikings might have to come to a difficult compromise. By that, they might have to sign him to a deal that kind of helps the team down the road, but also helps Danielle Hunter and stuff like that, with some similarities to other veterans around the league. Wes Ludford kind of dove through this situation and kind of laid it out of what a difficult compromise it actually would be. Now, it wouldn't be surprising if the Vikings, led by Adolfo-Mensah, preferred a short-term deal that allows them to maintain flexibility, while Hunter's side is firm in wanting a long-term deal, which is about 5 years, a 5-year deal comparable to recent deals based on age and production. Now, for Danielle Hunter's side, doing a 1 or 2 year deal puts him in a more difficult position to get a long-term deal at about 30 or 31. Obviously, that's kind of, when these guys start to dwindle away from the league. And kind of leave the league. And an injury could further damage his prospects. A compromise could come in the form of a longer-term deal that allows the Vikings a feasible early exit, whether release or trade. Now, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb's deal allow the team to exit after 3 years without an additional cap hit, and perhaps Hunter would accept a similar deal. So perhaps the Vikings could offer Hunter a 5-year, $135 million contract or new money extension, converting all but the league minimum salary, which is around $1 million in base salary, to a signing bonus as part of a $30 million signing bonus this year. Now, with base salaries of $24, $26, $28, and $32 million, $54 million guaranteed signing bonus plus his 2024 base salary, that would make Hunter a $7 million cap hit this year, leaving around $12 million or so in cap this year for the Vikings. Okay, now that would allow the Vikings to exit after 2025 with a $23.6 million cap hit, which would be a $10.4 million cap savings in that year. There could be some incentives attached to it as well. Now, it's unclear if Danielle Hunter would be willing to accept such a contract or if they'll want more guaranteed money and a higher AAV, but I suspect that would be the upper end of what the Vikings would be willing to offer Danielle Hunter. Now, this whole situation is really weird because Danielle Hunter, yes, he's had those injuries in the past, those last 2 seasons, not counting last year. Obviously, he posted 10.5 or 11.5 sacks, whatever it was. But when he's healthy, when he's on the football field, he's a freak of nature. Okay, we talked about it yesterday. Like, this dude he's a 3-time Pro Bowler, right? He's a superstar at the defensive end position, and I think he still has a couple more years left in the tank where he's going to play high-caliber football, and I would love that to be with the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, it's kind of, I think the Vikings are just looking at it as, hey, we have to figure out how to make it work with this current cap situation that we have. But if you look at the Von Miller and Bradley Chubb deals, I honestly don't think that would be a bad idea. Give, 5-year deal, which allows the team to opt out after 3 years and stuff like that and take no cap hit after those 3 years and allow him kind of seek the open market elsewhere at that point in time, because Danielle Hunter is, when healthy, he's a cornerstone part of our defense, and I would like him to remain a Minnesota Viking, especially with our new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, who can put him in positions to succeed and stuff like that. This whole situation, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, what are the Vikings going to do? I'm not 100% sure. I would love to keep him, but if a trade just so happens to be the only thing that's going to, come of this, we need to get some draft capital. We might need to get a player. And then if we do trade him, who are we going to replace at defensive end for Danielle Hunter? Is it going to be Yannick Ngakoue? Is it going to be Jadeveon Clowney, which I don't know if I want either one of them. But at the same time, we're going to need to find somebody to replace Danielle if we do trade him. I don't expect us to cut him at all, just because I feel like that'd be a dumb decision. Kind of like we cut Cook to save some cap space, and we wouldn't save too much with Danielle, so that would make no sense. So a trade or a possible extension is underway, but the extension would have to be a compromise between both sides, and I think that's kind of the only way. You can let me know what you think the Vikings should do with Danielle Hunter. Also, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It would be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your day, folks, and Skol Vikes.